It falls like a cannonball from the sky, from more than 100 feet above the rainforest floor. A Brazil nut pod plummets through layers of leaves and slams into the earth with explosive force. The impact would shatter most fruits instantly. This one barely cracks. Its shell is so dense and woody that even the violent drop cannot break it open. Inside, dozens of seeds wait in darkness. But this armor comes with a cost. The shell is not just protection from predators. It is also a barrier to life itself. Without something to split it apart, the seeds remain trapped, unable to germinate, unable to grow. The Brazil nut tree towers over the Amazon, rising up to 160 feet tall and living for centuries. Yet its future depends on what happens after the fall. Strength alone does not guarantee survival. In the rainforest, even the hardest fortress must eventually open or risk becoming its own prison. The fortress does not stay closed forever. On the forest floor, a sharp pair of orange incisors begins to test the shell. The agouti, a small, powerful rodent native to the Amazon, is the only mammal strong enough to gnaw through the Brazil nut's armored casing. Its teeth grow continuously, built precisely for challenges like this. With patience and leverage, it chisels a narrow opening. Inside is a cache of rich, energy-packed seeds. The agouti feeds, but not recklessly. It carries several away, burying them in scattered locations across the forest floor as emergency reserves for leaner months. This is not generosity, it is instinct. Yet the tree has, in a way, outsourced its future to this rodent. Because not every buried seed will be recovered. Some remain hidden, forgotten beneath layers of soil and leaf litter. And in that small oversight, a new forest quietly begins. Not every cache is remembered. The agouti moves on, seasons change, and the forest floor reshapes itself with rain and falling leaves. Landmarks vanish, scents fade. Some of the buried Brazil nuts remain hidden, untouched beneath the soil. What begins as forgetfulness becomes opportunity. Protected underground, the abandoned seeds wait through months of dormancy. When warmth, moisture, and light align, a crack forms from within. A pale shoot pushes upward, breaking through layers of earth toward the canopy far above. Years pass. The fragile sprout thickens into a sapling, then a towering giant. Given space and time, a Brazil nut tree can rise over 160 feet tall and live for centuries, even millennia. Its crown will one day dominate the skyline, producing heavy pods of its own. An oversight by a single rodent reshapes entire landscapes. In the Amazon, forests are not planted by intention. They are built from forgotten seeds and second chances. But reaching the canopy is only half the story. After nearly 20 years, the giant produces its first flowers, intricate, pale blossoms hidden high above the forest floor. They look inviting, rich with nectar, yet their structure tells a different story. Each flower is built like a locked chamber, its petals forming a tight hood over the reproductive core. Most visitors are turned away. Bees arrive in swarms, drawn by scent and color, but few are strong enough to force their way inside. The entrance demands power, precision, and persistence. Only one pollinator consistently meets the challenge: the Brazil nut bee, a large, muscular orchid bee capable of lifting the floral hood and slipping through the narrow gap. Inside, pollen clings to its body. When it moves on to the next blossom, the exchange is completed. The towering tree, born from a forgotten seed, now depends on a single, specialized ally high in the canopy. But even the Brazil nut bee does not arrive by accident. Deeper in the rainforest, orchids release a powerful fragrance, not nectar, but aromatic oils. Male orchid bees are irresistibly drawn to these scents. They scrape the oils with brush-like legs, storing them in specialized pouches to craft a complex perfume used to attract females. It is a ritual of courtship. Yet while collecting these oils, the males become loyal visitors to the orchid-rich canopy where Brazil nut trees also bloom. The perfume chase guides them through the same aerial highways. Females, strong and determined, follow food sources nearby, and only they can pry open the Brazil nut's locked flowers. In this layered alliance, orchids lure the bees. Bees enable pollination, and the towering tree secures its future. No single species works alone. The forest is built on invisible agreements: scent, strength, timing, each link essential, each partnership quietly sustaining one of the Amazon's greatest giants. Months after pollination, the cycle comes full circle. A mature Brazil nut pod, heavy and round, crashes back to the forest floor. Inside, the next generation waits. But even after the seeds are freed, the story does not end. The thick, hollow shell remains a wooden sphere carved open by time and teeth. When rain fills its curved interior, it becomes something unexpected: a tiny reservoir. In a forest where standing water can be scarce high above ground, poisoned dart frogs search carefully for safe nurseries. A water-filled Brazil nut shell offers protection from predators and flowing currents. Some species place a single tadpole inside, returning regularly to deposit unfertilized eggs as food. What began as armor for seeds now shelters fragile new life. From towering canopy to forest floor, every stage serves another purpose. In the Amazon, nothing is wasted. Even an empty shell becomes part of the rainforest's quiet design. Yet this ancient network now faces a different kind of pressure. Brazil nut trees can live for centuries, rising above the canopy long before modern borders existed. But they cannot survive chainsaws and fragmented forests. Logging roads carve deep scars into the Amazon, opening once isolated regions to clearing and fire. When surrounding trees disappear, orchid diversity declines. Without orchids, bee populations weaken. Without bees, pollination fails. The collapse begins quietly. Commercial demand for Brazil nuts has value when forests remain intact because the trees cannot be cultivated easily in plantations. They depend on the full complexity of wild ecosystems. But when timber extraction removes neighboring giants, the balance unravels. Regeneration slows. Seedlings struggle in altered light and soil conditions. A tree that once seemed indestructible becomes vulnerable through broken relationships. Protecting the Brazil nut is not just about saving a species. It means preserving the entire living system that allows it to exist, from orchids to bees to the forest itself. In the end, the Brazil nut tree stands as proof that survival is never solitary. Its towering trunk depends on an agouti's forgotten cache, on bees strong enough to unlock hidden flowers, on orchids that perfume the air, and even on frogs that transform empty shells into nurseries. Each connection is quiet. Each link seems small, yet together they hold up one of the Amazon's greatest giants. Remove one thread, and the web begins to loosen. When forests are fragmented, orchids fade. When orchids fade, bees decline. Without bees, flowers remain closed. Without agoutis, seeds never travel. What looks like a single tree is, in truth, an entire community woven into wood and time. The lesson is simple but profound. Ecosystems are agreements, not accidents. To protect one species, we must protect the relationships that sustain it. In the rainforest, strength does not come from standing alone. It comes from belonging to something larger. One tree, countless connections. The Brazil nut survives because an entire ecosystem works in quiet balance around it. When one link breaks, everything shifts. If this story changed how you see the forest, stay with us. Subscribe for more journeys into the hidden laws of nature, where every species matters and nothing survives alone.